Evening, everybody. I hope you are well today. I'm just checking my audio works because it doesn't sound good. Yep, it's working. I hope you're all well today. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and I've never really felt confident in delivering it with any kind of real confidence to make everybody kind of be on board with it. Because the last 2 years, I didn't think it could do a madness. Like, I didn't think our front six was quite good enough, and I didn't feel like I could portray that across that it was. But I'm starting to see the signs that we could have quite possibly the best front six in the world, as in player for player. Not the best forward line, because there's obviously Real Madrid and, Haaland is better than all of our forwards, like individually, for what he does. Arsenal, I think we're better. Tottenham, Manchester United, Chelsea, Bayern Munich. I think there's a number of teams that we're better from a forward line. Real Madrid, no. But I don't think there's many more. Like, I really don't think there's many more. I think maybe pound for pound, Manchester City's striker's better than all of ours. I think we're better than Bayern Munich's. We're better than Bayer Leverkusen's, Dortmund's, AC Milan's, Inter Milan's, Juventus, Barcelona, not Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. Like, I find it really difficult to pick one out that's better. But to have a front six that is as good as ours is quite frightening. Like, I think it's quite. I mean, Real Madrid haven't got a front six that can do what our front six can do. Can you hear me better now? Is that better? Can you let me know? Is my sound better now? Let me. Oh, hang on. That's why. Okay, so that's better. Right, okay. Right, you can hear me better now. Okay, so it's fine. It's working now. Okay, thanks for pointing that out, by the way. So I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive into all of our forwards individually. I also wanted to do a deep dive into how well they played together as a team, which I think is quite interesting. And then I also wanted to cover this season alone, like just how well how the numbers are this season under an Arne Slot. But I also wanted to look at how forwards are performed under Arne Slot through his career. And we're going to do this live, by the way. So we're actually going to look at this live. So you'll be looking at my screens as I'm going through finding this information. So you can go and find it yourself. And if you want to look into it more yourself, you absolutely can. So we can talk about individuals, but we also need to look at the team. And I think some of the numbers are really interesting. So just for example, we'll just go into Liverpool statistics this season. Yeah. I just need to refresh my screen because those numbers have changed now since I last looked. Okay. So I'm going to put my little face on the side here, and I'm going to share my screen. Where are we? Here we go. Okay. So we just look at Liverpool in general, just this season. This is just in the Premier League, okay? We've obviously scored 10 goals. We've had 81 shots and we've had 34 on target with a 42% accuracy, no penalty scored, 18 big chances, which puts us joint second, by the way, for big chances created this season. And we've hit the woodwork 4 times. Okay. I'm looking at goals and chances. That's what I'm looking at because I'm looking at our forward line. Okay. So if we just roll back last year, okay, so we're looking at last year now because they're all there. 5 of those forwards are still at the club playing for Liverpool. Okay, we've just got 1 extra. Okay, and that 1 extra has only got 1 assist so far, and it was in a cup competition. Okay, so we can't really look at him as the team yet, but we can look at him as an individual, and we can look at his numbers through his previous seasons. So that's another caveat that we can look at. Okay, so last year, 38 games, Premier League, 86 goals, 2.26 goals per game. They are frightening numbers, by the way. And the interesting thing about last season is we needed to score 2 or 3 goals to win a game last season because we conceded so many goals. Okay, so there was a huge amount of pressure on our forwards to score 2 or 3 goals, and they performed because the average per game was 2. Okay, shots on target 277, shooting accuracy 35%. So let's just look at this season. Okay, we've only got a sample size of 5, but we've already got 81 shots, 34 on target, and a 42% shooting accuracy. That's in 5 games. Last season, bringing this back up again, we had 790 shots and 277 on target. We've already got 35. So if I calculate that against 38 games, for example, so what I'll do is I'll just times it, okay? So I'll just do a calculation quickly. So I'm going to go off 40 games, okay, because it's easier, okay? So I just divide that by 5, and that's 8, okay? So that's 8 times 5. So let's just work this out on a macro level, yeah? Just for this season, for example, yeah? So I'm going to times everything by 8, okay, because it makes more sense. So just say we're working on 40 games, yeah, as a mean average, yeah? We scored 10 goals already. Okay, we're on par to score 80 goals, okay? That's a fact because we've just looked at it from a macro level and it's 40, so it's 8 times 5, okay? So it's 8 times 5, okay? We've scored 10 goals in 5 games, times it by 8, okay? So that's 80 goals, okay? So let's look at the shots. 8 times 81 shots equals 648 shots, okay? That's less than last season, but now we're going to look at shots on target. 8 times 34 equals 272. Okay, so last season we did 277 with 80 goals and the shots 790. Okay, so if we look at that as a dynamic, yeah, of 35%, yeah, 35%. With that, we're now going to increase that to 42%. That means that there's a very good possibility that we could hit the kind of numbers which could win us the league in 95 plus goals, because goals per match is 2.2. Goals at the moment is 2. Okay. And you also have to look at it as we've also had a game which was goalless. Okay. So if you're looking at 2 goals per game, there's going to be more goals because we had a goalless game as well. So it's really 4 games with the goals. Yeah. But the big chances created was the interesting one that I want to look at, because we created 102. So let me look at the numbers for that. I'm doing this live with you, by the way. So that's 18. Okay, so if I times that by 8, 18 times by 8 equals 144. So that's 144 big chances created under current numbers to 102. And this was the one which really jumped out at me. So if you're looking at numbers this season, yeah, in perspective, a 40 game season. I know it's only 38, but 40 game season. Yeah. We'll be creating nearly 38 more chances, big chances, and we have a 42% shooting accuracy. So those goals are probably going to be higher. Yeah. And those shots are probably going to be higher. However, the big chances are higher and the shooting accuracy is better. And you also have to put into the perspective, we don't need to score 2 goals per game to win a game in this season, because we are better defensively. And we also have an extra forward that we can rely on in Chiesa. You're throwing huge amounts of extra things into that mix. That you really are. Like you had 5 strikers last season, and 2 of them were injured for quite a lot of the season in Mo Salah and Diogo Jota. And we can look at their numbers. Okay. Now you've got a fit Jota. So far, so good this season. Like, you've got a fit Salah, and you've also got a Federico Chiesa to throw into there, who's going to be Salah's, backup if Salah needs a rest. I think that mixture of forwards can do a madness. I really, really do. And just looking at those numbers, I'm feeling quite confident about it. When you can create, just going by the average of the 5 games we played, 144 big chances, you don't think that number is going to increase the more and more the guys play together? I think the more and more those forwards play together, the more and more patterns of play. Chiesa's going to get used to the team, and they're going to rotate more, which means when they come in, they're going to be fitter, they're going to be more hungry. Cody Gakpo is now going to get played in the right position and not all over the place. Last season he was played maybe 4 or 5 times as a left winger. Like, I'm really excited, and I wanted to do this show because I feel like there's something special that can happen this season with our forward line. And we can do a different show about the defence if you want, but I think the forward line is what gets you over the line. Like, we're already looking more defensively sound. Like, the players are talking about defending. Like, Trent's even said, like Arnie Slot has took me aside and said, I don't care about what you're doing up there. Like, you're good at passing, but that's not your job. Your job is to defend first. And Trent has come out and said he likes that. He likes the guidance. Like, which makes me think, what the F's been going on for the last couple of years when Trent's never been questioned over his defending? Like, are you out of your mind? Like, you're a defender at first. You're the defender first, and then you're whatever you do after that is a bonus. But you defend first because that's where you are. You're in defence. And the fact that he's never been questioned about it, and he's now coming out and saying, "Yeah, I'm being challenged about it. I'm being asked." Like, and then Slot's come out and said, "Yeah, Trent's a right back. Like, like if he ain't defending, he ain't playing." Like, anyway, but it's not about this. This is about the attack. Okay, so now we're going to go granular. Okay, so let's look at what we did last season with players. Okay, so let's look at players individually. Okay, and it's obviously forwards. Um, okay, so let's look at Diaz. Okay, so last season Diaz played. Oh, hang on, sorry, that was the wrong button to press. Stats. Okay, last season Diaz played 37 games and got 8 goals. Okay, this is irrelevant. All of this is irrelevant right now. But what we do need to look at is we need to look at the shooting accuracy. Okay, so he had 94 shots, he had 32 on target, and he had 34% shooting accuracy, and he missed 13 big chances. Okay, so this is Diaz on his own. Okay, so if we look at the average, yeah, 37 games, 8 goals. Okay, so let's kind of break this down. What we'll do is we'll move this into 35 games. Okay, so we get a lower number, but then we can see what we could do this year. Okay, so this is last season. Okay, now we're looking at this season. Okay, we know he's doing a madness, and there's no reason why he can't continue this. So this season, 5 goals, 5 games. Okay, so if we put a goal a game, I think that's not realistic. I don't think that's realistic, a goal a game. However, his shooting accuracy is 62% this season, and he's only missed 2 big chances. Okay, and he's had 13 shots with 8 on target and 5 goals. Okay, even if he doubles this, yeah, this season, he would have exceeded last season. Now, if he's got 35 games, yeah, so, okay, let's just say, for example, he gets a goal every 3 games, yeah. So if we combine that by 38 games, okay, say he plays 35 games, yeah, say, all right, let's actually bring that down. Say he plays 30 games, okay, so he plays 30 games this season, yeah, and we divide that by 3, that's 10 goals, okay, so that's 10 goals he scores if he scores a goal every 3 games. But he's already scored 5 goals, okay, so he's got 25 games that he could potentially score 1 in 3. 25 divided by 3. So that's 8.3 goals. So let's just say 8 goals plus 5. That's 13 goals. Now, I still don't think that's enough. So if we could get 15 goals out of him, is that a good season? Is that a good season if we could get 15 goals out of Luis Diaz this season? Bearing in mind he's already scored 5 with 13 shots. 5 goals in 13 shots. That is outrageous. And that's just outrageous. So even if we got 15 goals out of him, yeah. So say we got another 10 goals, and we've still got 38 games, by the way. So if he played 38 games, yeah. So I'm going to put 33 games left, obviously, and I'm going to divide that by 10. That's a goal every 3 games. He only needs to get a goal every 3.3 games to get 15 goals this season already. These are the kind of numbers which we could be working with this season, and these are I don't think we realise how a madness we could do, how big a madness we could do with these forwards this season. This is just the Premier League. He's got 5 goals in the Premier League this season. This is just the Premier League. Like, I'm not talking about overall. I'm talking about just the Premier League. Like, everything I'm talking about now is the Premier League, because this is what we could win this season if we get things right. If we get things right, this is what we could win this season, because there's a lot of turmoil in the Premier League. Like, you know, Manchester City have just lost Rodri. Manchester City are probably going to have to go and buy a monster in January, and that might not work. Like, buying a brand new player might not work, because when they bought Rodri, he didn't work straight away. So Manchester City don't have the luxury of being able to buy incredible players and be able to just get them working straight away. That's not how it works with a Pep Guardiola. It took, they had to transform the team to get Haaland to work, and they actually put a lot of other players, like, took away their numbers to make him work, which is fine. So it might not work straight away with City. Arsenal, I don't think Arsenal are going to be there or thereabout yet. I don't see a huge amount with them. They're too defensive minded. They don't score enough goals. I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. Like, I feel like Curtis Jones is probably going to be the 10 this season. Like, I think he's going to be Szoboszlai's backup, which means that he probably is going to go in and get a defensive midfielder, or not a defensive midfielder, but a midfielder that can do defensive work. Like, I feel that is something which will probably happen. Zubamendi, I think City might go and try for Zubamendi now. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Okay, so we're talking about Diaz. Okay. So if we just look at, and this is what I also wanted to look at, the big chances missed, 2. Okay. Last season, he missed 13. Okay, so we just divide that by 38, 13. Every 2.9 games. So every 3 games he missed a big chance. Okay, that's not bad at all, really. But what I also want to look at is I wanted to look at the number of shots, because he had 94 last season. So that's 38 divided by 94. Means that he's having 0.4 shot a game. Okay, so he's having a shot every, I don't know, he's having four shots every game, pretty much. Yeah. And 32 shots on target. So we could divide that by 38 as well, which means he's having a shot on target a game. Okay. This season, 13 shots. So even if we kind of work that one out as a 38 divided by 13, that's 3 shots a game. Same as last season, by the way. Shots on target, 8 divided by 38. That's less than 1 shot a game on target. But the accuracy is so much higher. So the numbers are quite similar to last season. So it doesn't feel like he's dropped off in the output, but it feels like it feels like the goals and the accuracy and the areas that he's in are the difference. So, I've probably got to give a bit of kudos to Savage on this one, because Savage said, look, we're all talking about Diaz like he's this different guy. He's not. He was doing the same last season. And Jerry said this as well, and GTV as well. Like, they actually said this, like, he's not doing anything differently. But what he's doing now is his shooting accuracy is better, and he's getting into the areas where he's got a better chance of scoring. And this is down to the manager. I feel like this is down to the setup. This is down to the switch where he's not the guy that's running 30 yards to get you to the goal line, and then he's the one who's got the chance as well. It's the other way round. Other players are getting us up the pitch with better passing, better possession, better movements, and then he's the one on the end of play. He's the one making the run for the final pass, and he's not the guy which is making the run to provide the final pass, which he's not good at. So I feel that's an interesting component. And I also feel like giving him a little bit of rest here and there is better for him. It's better for him. So that's my breakdown of Diaz this season. 15 goals in the Premier League, and probably a shooting accuracy of around, probably about 50, I think, overall. Very interesting. Very excited about what we're seeing from him. He's still got 3 years left on his contract, by the way. All this talk about him getting a contract, I don't know, because he's still got 3 years left, but he is the lowest paid forward in the forward line. So I feel like he will be the next one to get a new deal. And we'll talk about the other players in a bit as well. So what we can look at as well is, I wanted to quickly show you this, because this is this is just stark difference. Okay, these are the numbers on a graph of goals per 90 minutes in the league for Diaz over the years. Yeah, I mean, it's like chalk and cheese, but he's going to be hitting the numbers like he got at Porto. And I think it's really interesting, because he scored 5, but he's had 6 goal involvements, which means he's involved in the play. And he's scoring goals at home and away as well, which is always good to see. That's what Salah was so good at. Like, he scored goals home and away all the time. And he's expecting, he's expected to score 4 goals, but he scored 5. So he's ahead on the XG side of things. Doesn't take free kicks, doesn't take penalties. I thought I'd just show you that. Just interesting numbers. And he's playing 72 minutes per game, which means he's not playing the whole 90 all the time, which is something which we had him doing last season, a lot of, playing the 90 all the time. So he's being rested, which means he's fresher, he's fitter, he's got more athleticism. I think it helps. Anyway, so that's the Diaz piece. So next off, I wanted to look at our other forwards. So just switching my screen. And I'm obviously going to look at Cody Gakpo next. Where are we? So that's Diaz. So how do I get back? There we go. Okay. So now we look at Cody Gakpo. Okay. So Cody Gakpo. Let's look at the stats. Right. Okay. So we're going to look at last season. Okay. So last season, 35 games, 8 goals. Yeah. 66 shots, 24 on target, 36% shot accuracy, and 6 big chances missed. and they're not great numbers. But you also have to look at where he played as well. So am I sharing my screen here? I am, yeah. Okay. So this season, he's not played. He's not played. He's not come on from the start. He's been a substitute in all his games. He's hit the woodwork and he's missed a big chance, but he's only had 4 shots and none on target. So he's really not had a chance to play this season. Now, where I sit with this one is if he did 8 goals last season and he played 35 games, how many goals do you think we can get out of him this season if he plays, say, 30 games? Yeah. I think we could probably get 10 goals out of him this season if he plays 30 games. Because if you're looking at the numbers, so if you're looking at the numbers on Diaz, and then you're looking at the numbers on Cody Gakpo, because he's going to be in the same position. He's going to be playing the same kind of role. I don't see that switching, which means you're going to get Cody closer to the goal, and he's pretty potent, closer to the goal. He's got more skill. He can dribble past players. He can also put in a good cross, which means you're probably going to get more assists. You got 5 assists from him last season, and you got 8 goals, and he played all over the place, literally all over the place. Like we could look at his heat map if you want in another while. But I feel like if you're going to play him for 35 games, sorry, if you're going to play him for say 30 games, because he's not played any games so far. Like he's only played bit part in the games. I'm actually going to look at his numbers here, which I think will be interesting. So let me look at Cody's numbers here. Hang on, where is he? So I'm just going to look at players. Players, Cody Gakpo. So this season, so this season, 5 games, he's played 20 minutes per game. 20 minutes per game, and he's had 2 shots taken, and they were both off target, and he hit the post. I think he hit the post, didn't he? Or was the crossbar? Is that a post or crossbar? In the games that he's played, and he's only had 2 shots. So I don't really have a number to give you on him, unfortunately, because he just hasn't played enough. However, if you looked at last season, 35 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. He had, where is it? He had 25 shots on target out of 45, and he never hit the post once last season. And his shot accuracy was 51%. And he played in various positions, like all over the place. So if you're putting him in a more dangerous position and his shooting accuracy was 50% and he didn't hit the post then, but he's at the post now already, I could see him getting 10 goals in 30 games. So I'm kind of calculating these games as these goals as well. So we're already on 25 goals from our forward line, which is Diaz and Cody Gakpo. And I also think Gakpo could probably get 5 assists. He got 5 last season. I think he could probably get 5 assists. I actually think Diaz could probably get 5 assists. So you've got 10 assists in there as well. So I think that's probably reasonable. He's already got 2 goals in the cup competition, and he's already got a goal, an assist in the Champions League as well. So we're already looking at numbers picking up for Cody, but he's only really played 2 games from the start. So, and these are the last 2 games. So I feel like there's a lot more to come from him now that he's being integrated more. But I'm just looking at the numbers from last season, and I'm looking at what we could do this season with him in a better position, in a more structured team, being told, yeah, you're going to play as the left winger. You know, your Diaz's back up. You and him alternate in that position all season. More stability. So I'm looking at those type of goals there, which is good. So let's now look at next player. Okay, so next player we're now going to look at is Nunez. Okay, so Nunez last season, 11 goals in 36 games. So 11 goals, 36 games, 108 shots, 46 on target, and a 43% shooting accuracy in the Premier League. He hit the woodwork 9 times, and he missed 27 big chances, which is, I think it's a record, if I'm completely honest. Like crazy, like just crazy numbers, like, and not in a good way. I don't feel they were good numbers at all. I kind of wanted to show you this just in a I wanted to show you this one, which is a bit more interesting. So 36 games, average of 57 minutes per game on the pitch. 22 match started, 13 subbed in, 2 subbed out. Obviously, those games were at the end of the season. He had 19 total goal involvements. Scored more goals away, which is an interesting one. Only scored 2 goals once all season. 87 shots, 46 on target, 41 off target, hit the post 9 times, 12% conversion. Shot accuracy was 52, but the conversion rate was 12%. And it took nearly eight shots to score a goal. So eight in one, which is horrendous. It really is horrendous. You need 8 shots to score a goal. Like you ain't getting 8 shots in every game. Like, so those numbers are pretty poor. So we look at this season. So far, what are we looking at? 34 minutes per game. 4 matches played. 1 started, 3 subbed. 1 goal, 1 assist. What have we got? We got 3 shots. 3 shots, 2 on target, and 1 goal. 33% conversion rate already, and shot accuracy is already up. And I get it. I get that because it's such a small sample size, but it kind of tallies with Diaz's. You know, the numbers have just shot up, and we'll see this with Jota as well. By the way, the numbers have shot up, like as in you're having less shots, you're having better chances, and your conversion rate is higher, whether it's on target or whether it's in the goal, for 2 players. And And it's a small sample size. It really is a sample size that's small. But I can only give you 5 games that we played under this guy, and it's going to get better. It's not going to get worse. It's going to get better. So if we're already doing this now, and the production has drastically changed in the space of the first 5 games of the Premier League season, can you imagine what it's going to be like 10 games in, 15 games in, when everybody's ticking away, everybody's working in unison. Players know where they need to be. Players know the runs they need to make. The patterns of play get better. Those lines get stronger. You know that confidence in that guy being able to pass to me. Yeah, we give it to him. We give it to him down that line because we know what he can do. He's deadly. The relationships become stronger. We've still got Chiesa to throw into the mix. We've still got a Cody Gakpo on the left wing to throw into the mix because he's never been thrown in. So you've got a right winger that's never been used, and you've got a left winger that's never been used, who I believe can both give us 10 goals in the Premier League this season. And I believe Nunez could give us 15. And if you've got Diaz and Nunez giving you 15, that gives you 30. And then you've got Gakpo with 10, and you've got Chiesa with 10. That's 50 goals. And I haven't even thrown in Jota and Salah into the mix. And Jota and Salah's numbers are superb. And the conversion rates are superb. So this is why I'm saying I do feel like our forward line can do a madness this year. I really do. Okay. So that's Nunez. So let's look at Jota. So let's look at Jota. Okay. So Jota last season, 21 games, 10 goals, 41 shots, 20 on target, pretty much 50% conversion rate, and 3 big chances missed. Okay. I mean, those numbers are pretty scary, aren't they? Let's be fair. It's like it's 1 in 2, basically. Like, it's like a goal every other game. Like, they are frightening numbers. Okay, Jota's got 5 games already under the belt. I'm actually going to bring his numbers up in here actually because they look. I think this chart's better. I'm going to use this one instead. Okay, so far this season, and people say Jota isn't playing well, which is mental, by the way. 4 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. Yeah, he's playing 72 minutes per game. Yeah, he's already got 2 in 1 in the League Cup, and he only had 2 shots in the entire game in the League Cup, and he only had 2 shots inside the box in that game. That was all he did. 2 shots, 2 goals, bang, bang. Okay. He's played 4 games. He's been subbed out once. Yeah. Give you his numbers down here this season. 1 goal scored in the Prem, 2 goal involvements, obviously. Goal away, which is hard to do, by the way. He's had 7 shots. He's got 7 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal, 5 off target. His shot accuracy is 28%. His conversion rate obviously 14%. It's a bit lower because of this season. But if we just look at last season, because what we can do is we can kind of use last season as a barometer for what he can do this season, because we know how good he is. He had 30 shots, 20 on target, obviously 10 off target. His conversion rate was 33%, which was the second highest in the league, and his shot accuracy was 66%. And he scored a goal every 3 games. Okay, he's only got 1 in 4 this season so far. But if you look at the shots, he had 30 and he's only had 7 in 5 this season, I believe. Let me have a quick look. Is that 7? Yeah, 7 shots this season. So I think his numbers will start shooting up. But I also feel with Diogo Jota, I feel like he's being used differently and he's not being used as a straight up forward. So I think he's more involved in a lot of play. But I also feel that we're going to use him sparingly and we're going to use him as a sub. We're going to take him off a lot as a sub. So I feel like there's other players which can come in and take up the slack, which is obviously Nunez, for example. Maybe Chiesa might get used more for those guys. But if you also look at the fact that we've scored 10 goals in 5 games, the goals have kind of been spread between Diaz, Salah, Nunez, Jota, and obviously Gakpo hasn't played. He hasn't played, has he? So it's spread between those 4. And obviously we've gone through the kind of goal numbers which I think we could achieve this season. So I think Jota could do 15. There's a potential he could do 20, but I feel if we had Jota doing 15, then that's 65 goals so far from our forward line. You know, we're looking at the kind of goal numbers just off our forwards, which means we don't need a huge amount from our midfielders and defenders, but I still think we will get numbers from them. So now you've got Salah. I haven't even talked about Chiesa yet, but now we've got Salah. Okay, so far this season, 5 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. So Salah's on better GA than he's ever had in his Liverpool career so far, which I think is quite frightening. And he's playing every game as well, but he's doing 89 minutes, which means he's getting a little bit of rest, but not a huge amount. 7 goal involvements already. He's only been expected to score 3.5 goals. So he has missed half a chance somewhere along the line there. Shot conversion 20, shot accuracy 80. He's had 15 shots, 12 on target. You know, his numbers are pretty good. I mean, his dribbles are really good as well this season. You know, we say he was poor at dribbling last year. His dribbles are really good. Look at his numbers last year. 38 games, 19 goals, 12 assists. So you're looking at 31 goal involvements. He's easily on for that. A spread of 11 at home, 8 away. 15 goals expected last season, and he scored 19. Crazy. He also had quite a few penalties. There's no penalties this season so far. 97 shots, 47 on target. He hit the woodwork 4 times, 19, basically 20% shot conversion rate, 48%, same as Jota. Assists were outrageous. Pretty much on par with his assists. I don't think he's got penalties in here. I don't know how many penalties he scored. 4. 4 penalties taken, 2 scored. I don't know whether he will take the penalties this season, but he scored 19 last season and he's already got 3 in 5. I feel Salah could get possibly 25 this season because I think he's in better positions. So you got 25 to add to 15 to add to 50. That's 90 goals. That's 90 goals, and we haven't even. Actually, we have. I have included Chiesa in there. So I put 10 for Chiesa. So we've got. Hang on, how have I worked that out? Yeah, 10 for. Yeah, 10 for Gakpo. 10 for Gakpo. 10 for Chiesa. 15 for Diaz. 15 for Jota. 15 for Nunez. And 25 for Salah. Makes 90. Even if Salah got 20, that's still 85 goals. So even if we broke that down and say Salah got 20, yeah, that's 85 goals from our forward line this season in the Premier League. Okay. So that's 85 goals from our forward line. So let's have a look at the team last season. So last season, 86 goals last season. So I've already got us on 85 with the forward line. Yeah, Nunez 15. Yeah, Nunez could do 15. So that's 85. And that's not putting Salah on 25 goals. That's dropping him down to 20 goals. Okay. So that's 85 from our forward line. We did 86 last season. And I think we finished 3rd in goals last season. Actually, let me look at that. Let me actually look at that. Where did we finish in the Premier League last season? With goals. 2 seconds. I'm doing this live. Club stats. So last season, looking at goals. Oh, we finished 3rd last season with 86 goals. Manchester City 96, and Arsenal 91. So 85 goals I've got us with our forwards this season. Yeah. And then you're going to be looking at goals from your midfield. Okay. Okay. We don't need to look at the midfield for goals. We just don't. Okay. But if we're looking at the midfield for goals, we could easily put Dominic Szoboszlai on 5. We could put McAllister on 5. We could put Gravenberch on 5. You might be able to put Curtis Jones on 5. You know, just as a rough estimate, and then maybe you put Virgil on 3 and Ibu on 3, and then you might put Trent on 5 or 3, and then potentially Robbo on 2. You know, so even if we do like 85, you could probably add another 15 on top of that. So that's 85 plus 15. That's 100 goals. Manchester City did 96. I think we are potentially on par to score 100 goals this season. If we could score 100 goals this season, I think we win the league. I think we win the league. Goals win you games. Goals win you games. I think 100 goals could win you the league. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the number of goals that were scored in the last couple of seasons and whether they won you the league. 94, the season Manchester City finished top and Arsenal finished second again. 94, 88, 75. Season before that, actually, that was that season, sorry. Manchester City again, 99 goals. Liverpool, 94 goals. Didn't win us the league. Are you looking at the common denominator here? The common denominator is goals win you the league. 83, Man City won the league. Where did we finish that season? I think we finished quite low. So 68 season we won the league. 102 for City, but 85 for us. That was an anomaly because we defended so well. I think what we also need to look at as well is I think we need to look at, and I'm going to do this from last season, by the way. I'm going to look at shots. Who had the most shots last season? We did. And we finished third in goals. We had 790 shots and we finished third in goals. This is a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Season before, where are we right now? We are fifth at the moment with 81 shots. And where are we with goals? Let's have a look. And with joint third with goals. Let's have a look at shots again for the season before that. So we go back to 2022 when we finished third again. We were second with shots and we finished third. Manchester City were more clinical, obviously, because they had Haaland who did that 50-goal season. So I just wanted to show you those numbers because I think it makes a difference. Like I really feel it makes a difference that you score more goals from less shots, and that helps you a huge amount. And I feel like if we scored over 100 goals, I feel like we could win the league. And I'm just talking about the league, by the way. Like I'm not looking at Carabao Cups, and I'm not looking at Champions League or FA Cup or anything like that. I'm just looking solely on the league because Arne Slot has said specifically he needs to get over 86 points, otherwise we can't win the league. We need to get over that 86 point mark. And I feel like we have a forward line that can get us, 85 goals. And if you can get 85 goals, and we only scored 86 last season, and then you've got midfielders and defenders and left back, right back. I just feel like that's the number. We need to be looking at areas that can get us over the line. And it looks like we've now rectified the issues we've had at the back. And we've got defenders defending, and we've dropped 5 yards lower back, and we're not pressing like crazy people all the time, and we're not committing too many men forward. we're starting to utilise the left back and the right back, and they're not both going at once. We're condensing the midfield more to make it harder to get past us. And this forward line is frightening. Like it could be frightening. Like we completely demolished West Ham yesterday. We completely demolished AC Milan away. Like in the last 3 games, we've scored 5 in one, 3 in the other, and 3 in the other. In the last 5 games, we scored 11 goals and conceded 1. Sorry, 2. And one of them was an own goal. So was it really like the opposition didn't score? So we've really only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 games. And that was from the loss. So the manager's gone away and gone, hang on a minute. Things need tweaking here. Things need tweaking. We need to work on patterns better. We need to maybe keep possession better. And he's done it. And he bounced back from the 1-0 defeat at home through a wonder goal, by the way. He only had 2 shots on goal in that game, and one of them was a screamer. And then you've got a drubbing where we had 19 shots at AC Milan. Sorry, 21 shots at AC Milan. And then we had 19 shots at Bournemouth. And then we had, how many shots did we have in the last game? I'm actually going to look at that because that was a really interesting number. How many shots did we have at West Ham? Sorry, against West Ham. Let me look at that. So West Ham, we had 20 shots against West Ham. So that's another 20. So even if you break it down at kind of average that we've had in the last 3 games, we're looking at 20 shots per game, and we're looking at a minimum of 3 goals per game. Like you really do have to kind of just work things out slowly like this. And if you're looking at 3 goals per game, then there's going to be there's 30. How many? 30, 33 games left. Divided by 3 equals, hang on, 33 goals divided by 20. So basically 1.6 shots. So every 1.6 shots. No, that can't be right. Is that right? No, hang on. Sorry. My head's gone a bit here. Okay, so we're having 20 shots per game and we're scoring 3 goals as an average in those games. Yeah. So 3 equals. Okay. Every 6.6 shots, we score a goal at the moment. So that's just the average right now this season. So every 6 shots we have, we score. So, and we're not conceding many goals. We've conceded 2 proper goals. One was an own goal, but we've conceded 3 goals, and we've scored. We've scored more than 10 now, haven't we? We scored 15 now. So we've scored 15 goals in total. Actually, what am I talking about? We've scored 15, 16, 17. We scored 18 goals and conceded 3 this season in all competitions, if you want to kind of work it out like that. So it's 6 shots per goal. And if those shots are coming from a Mo Salah or a Jota, you're 1 in 2. So you're 1 in 2 with just them. And then maybe you need 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 for the Diaz's and the the Diaz's, the Nunez's, the Chiesas, and the Gakpos. And this is just our forward line. Like, I think 85 goals is actually possible from our forwards this season. And that wins you the league. Like, 100 goals wins you the league. Like, Manchester City aren't scoring 100 goals this season. Like, they're not scoring 100 goals this season. Like, you can't put that much pressure on one guy. And he might get them 50 goals in the Premier League again, but they still need another 50. And we could have 85 or 80. I mean, even 75, I think, is really low from our forward line. And you've got Haaland providing 50, which is outstanding, by the way, and it might not be able to do it. But you got to get all those other goals from other players. You know, so far this season, they've scored a few goals, but the majority of them are from him. Ours are spread across the park, and I think it's going to be really interesting. Like, I really do. And if we can get 100 goals from the entire team, I think we win the league. Because at the moment, we're conceding in the Premier League 1 in 5. Like, like, and scoring 3. So I think the numbers are there. And I know it's a small sample size, but it's also the start, which means that it can only get better. It can only get better. Players can only get better now. You look at Curtis Jones in the League Cup, like, he looks like he's been given a lease of life and he's being able to express himself more. And I think he could do a madness this season in the games that he's given. I really do. He's got some incredible talent. And if Slot can unleash that, like, we got a real player on our hands there as well. Who has got goals and assists. He's got 5-10 goals and 5-10 assists this season. If he can be unleashed, and maybe he can actually overtake Dominic Szoboszlai in that number 10 position, because I think it's his to challenge for. Because him and Dom have got to work really hard to keep that. And I'm really excited, and I'm glad I did this show now because I wasn't sure about the numbers in my head, but now I'm looking at it on paper, and we're kind of working out what they've done last season and how we could improve that this season, and some of the numbers that are there already. I think it's doable. We got Wolves away next game, absolutely getting drubbed by everyone. I think they got beat 6-2 or 5-2 by Chelsea. We could put another 3 or 4 past them. I think the defense is solid. I think Konate looks like an absolute warrior, and he's been given the confidence to be able to play football now, and he can pass it more. And he's got a right back next to him. Like, Trent's not being heavily involved in games so much. He's having less touches. He's having less influence, but he doesn't need to. He's a right back, and he needs to help Konate more, because you can't just leave it to him on his own. And I've already done a show with Cal from Coppish to talk about the contract situation and whether we can survive with those 3 players if they all leave. I'm pretty convinced in my own mind now that I think Liverpool are future planning for the likes of Alisson, Salah, Trent, and also Virgil van Dijk leaving. And I think we'll be fine. Like, I really do. Like, I think we've got a guy in charge who has got plans. He's got plan B, plan C. He can go away and put a plan E in there if he wants to. Like, I think he knows what to do with the team. I think he knows what to do against opposition. I think he's making our players look better. I think he's coaching our players now. I think our players are listening to what he's saying. So I think he's already got the dressing room on board. And we haven't signed a player in the positions that we need to sign a player in, which is left back and defender and also midfield. So it can only be better. Like, and if these three guys go, then we get three guys that are on 200 grand a week and will cost 50 million plus to replace them. And I have every bit of confidence that we're going to get the best that suits us and not the best that suits the league. Like, as in, we're not going to get what Arsenal gets. We're not going to get what Man City gets. We're going to get what Liverpool gets and what Liverpool needs. And if Liverpool needs a certain player and the fans might not be happy with it, you have to trust the system and you have to trust the manager. And so far, so good. Notts Forest was a freak event with a wonder goal, and we missed a lot of chances. Their goalkeeper got man of the match, by the way, on SofaScore. And it is what it is. Like, these things happen. I'd rather that happen now than at the end of the season. And you're absolutely right. Edwards coming back is such a big plus that people just aren't reading into it as much. Only time will tell, but Arsenal are dropping points, Man City are dropping points. We've obviously dropped points, but we're back on track and onwards and upwards. And like I said, if we can get 100 goals, we win the league. And I stand by that. And I think our forward line can get between 80 to 85, which is a huge amount towards that number. And I'm excited. And you have a wonderful evening. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. I haven't broke down the game from last night because it was just like mental, like just 5 goals, just battered them. Like, you know, I didn't really need to do a breakdown of that game. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the forwards, and I have. And I will see you all in the next couple of days when I do a preview. I might do a preview tomorrow actually for the Wolves game, depending on how I feel. Okay, but I will catch you later. Up the Reds. I'm out of here.